Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. I just want to introduce our first speaker for the session, Marlene Mazik. So Marlene Mazik supports the Forest Service implementation of the USDA Civilian Climate Corps Initiative and is co-lead of the Forest Service Equity Action, Achieve a Representative, Inclusive, and Thriving Forest Service Workforce. Previously, Marlene served as a program manager for the Volunteers in Service program for 11 years by providing strategic leadership and policy guidance for a national program that engages more than 100,000 volunteers and service members on the 174 national forests and grasslands. She rebranded Forest Service volunteerism efforts and promoted an expansion of service opportunities for youth and veterans through the 21st Century Conservation Service Corps. Marlene was instrumental in establishing the Resource Assistants Program, which has made significant contributions to the Forest Service mission and in promoting workforce development for emerging professionals. Marlene has also served as the director of AmeriCorps National Civilian Community Corps, providing leadership in youth engagement, environmentalism, and disaster response, and managing strategic planning and daily operations. She has worked in the youth service field for most of her career, serving in various education, workforce development, and leadership roles with Youth Corps, nonprofits, the private sector, and federal and local government. Significantly, because of Marlene's creativity, vision, and passion, the Resource Assistance Program is where it is today. Thank you, Marlene, and welcome.
So very glad to be here, and I appreciate the invitation and opportunity to get to meet some of our new cohort of resource assistants, as well as share a little bit about with you about why the mentoring aspect of this experience is so critical. I want to first apologize for my screen. I tried to upload a photo of a flower, tree, or something that was part of our theme. And I didn't quite get the part about having a green screen. And so if I am merging into the flowers, these tulips that I painted actually a couple years ago, forgive me. But I think I'm sharing my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
I have up here a quote from Denzel Washington, one of my favorite people, of course. And he talked about what a mentor is. And I'm going to read it only because I just think that, putting voice to these words are real important. He said, to show me a successful individual, and I'll show you someone who had real positive influences in his or her life. I don't care what you do for a living. If you do it well, I'm sure there was someone cheering you on or showing the way. That is a mentor. And I can't think of a better way to kick off this really brief introduction to the mentoring aspect of the Resource Assistant Program than to share these really smart words from someone who I've admired. When we designed the Resource Assistance Program, we wanted to create an experience that would place a great deal of emphasis on the relationship between the resource assistant and the staff that was hosting that resource assistant. Because the Resource Assistance Program is first and foremost a developmental opportunity. It's a developmental experience. It's an immersive experience that is designed to reach audiences of young people and emerging professionals who are interested in natural resources, careers, or conservation, but may not have any real experience doing this work. And we were interested in working with units who understood the value of creating a warm, supportive, and developmental environment for someone who could potentially become part of our future workforce because of the direct hire authority. And I knew from the very, very beginning, when we were just beginning to conceive of what the Resource Assistance Program could look like, that this had to be a priority for this experience. We have emphasized the importance of Forest Service staff who have fully embraced the mentoring approach to hosting a resource assistant. And I believe that there are some host staff who do this probably far more effective than others. And we want 100% of our mentors to be absolutely at that highest tier of mentoring. And that is our goal. And when we have these conversations with you, and hopefully many of the mentors who will be on the call, we want to share with you what we believe are some habits that will ensure that this is an exceptional experience. So let me repeat again, the priority of this program is that it is a developmental experience. And what developmental means is that there is a tremendous investment by the Forest Service in creating an environment where you are going to have an opportunity to develop your skills, your understanding, and your ability to perform at an optimal level. We understand that not everyone is going to become a Forest Service employee because you're not going to want to, but that mentoring relationship is still important because what we're interested in is building conservationists, natural resource specialists, environmentalists who are going to take what they've learned through this experience and apply it wherever they go, whether it's in the private sector, whether it's with the Forest Service, in the public sector, or with some other federal agency. We want you to have the kind of experience that's going to enable you when you make that next transition to be a top performer and to be ready to learn and grow and to contribute in a way that occurs because you've had someone cheering you along all the way, just as Denzel mentioned. So my first experience as a mentor was my first job out of college. And I went to Temple University. And after I finished school, I hung around Philadelphia for a little bit. And my first job was with this place called the Rebecca Gratz Club. And the Rebecca Gratz Club was a home for young women who had found themselves in extraordinary circumstances. And I was essentially a house mother at this club, working with young women. And I'd never have really worked in that kind of environment before. As essentially, supporting them in their work, their experience, their counseling, and their transition as they cope through this extraordinary circumstance that they found themselves in. What I didn't know then was that it was my first exposure to be a mentor to someone else. And when I left that job, about a year after starting it, I was surprised at how difficult it was to walk away from these relationships that I had developed with these young women. As a mentor, as a house parent, as someone who they were coming to for guidance and support. And what I found was my calling as an individual, that it was something that I wanted to be able to impart to other individuals that crossed my path. I was also able to make the connection that there were people in my life that had done the same thing for me. And I did not recognize that they were actually mentoring me, who were encouraging me to spread my wings, to take risks and to try new things. And I think of one woman in particular, and I have never said this to her, and I want to reach out to her. Her name was Nadine Hester. And I was a member of my urban league as while I was in high school. And she was always very encouraging and actually pushed me to try something that I had never done before. And that was to take on a experience in New York City in Riverdale the summer between my high school graduation and college, where I would live with young people, about 100 young people from across the country, in what we call this encampment for citizenship. 17 years old, very sheltered, but she saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. That's what mentors do. They take time to meet with you. They take time to get to know you. They're not afraid to give you constructive criticism, because if they're not telling you the truth about what they're seeing, then you're not benefiting from those experiences. Each of the mentors who may be on this call, our expectation is that you're meeting with your resource assistant at least every other week, where you're having a conversation with them, checking in with them, making sure that their work plans are represent the expectations for what they're going to accomplish in this experience, helping them think about their next steps. What are the skills that they need? What kind of training is going to help them be most effective? And then providing a safe space for them to talk to you about what they're experiencing. It's not easy staying committed to those biweekly calls, but it is so very critical that you make the time to do that. And I think that, Vanessa was one of my resource assistants. Several other young people have come through the programs. And I'm not going to lie, there were times when I wanted to cancel those sessions, but I didn't. I had things that I needed to get done, but when I weighed, what was most important to me, what was most important was that I was there and I was able to fulfill my commitment to the young person that I had committed to mentoring. So I hope that our mentors recognize that they have made a commitment and that there is an expectation that they will be able to fulfill that commitment, so that the resource assistant that's assigned to their unit has the best foundation for growth and development in their job, and that even though there are going to be times when they want to cancel it, if you have to cancel, don't cancel, reschedule. But make sure that hour, that 30 minutes that you have set aside, that individual has an opportunity to have access to you. So I'm not going to go on and on. I just wanted to share with you a few thoughts about why mentoring is important, why I think it's actually the most important role of this relationship. And that is the mentor who is ensuring that you as an RA are able to really consider how this experience is shaping you, how you can be better at your job, and how you can be prepared for the next steps of your career, whatever that might be. And mentoring you is as important for those of you who decide to pursue jobs outside the Forest Service as for those of you who will be moving into jobs with the Forest Service. So welcome. So grateful that you all chose the Forest Service for your next step, and really looking forward to learning more about your experience and how we can improve the work that we're doing in the Forest Service to make the Forest Service a welcoming and place for those of you interested in careers in natural resources. Thanks.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Marlene, for joining us today and sharing your thoughts and inspiring words for the mentors as well as for the resource assistants. You really help us to set the tone for this breakout, for the breakout rooms that we're about to do and for the remainder of the RA-ship. So at this time, Vanessa, you want to go ahead and share your screen? Thank you so much. So in just a minute, we are going to start our breakout rooms, and you're going to have about 30 minutes or so to discuss any of these suggested topics, or if there's other questions that you might have. We're going to have these breakout rooms, and we have broken them out by, did we do regions? Is it region, Vanessa, or disciplines? The disciplines. Okay, we've broken you guys out by your discipline. So all of the law enforcement officers will be together. If you're in GIS or in a field position, you guys will be together. Archaeologists. So we tried to group you by your discipline or your field with the mentors. So this is your opportunity to meet with Forest Service staff, not only your mentor, but other Forest Service staff. And so this is the beginning of what we talked about yesterday, starting these relationships, building that foundation of your network within the agency. So as you get into these breakout rooms, ask questions, introduce yourself, ask questions, jot names down of people that you might want to connect with at a later date once you start in your position, and just really get to know the mentors and listen to their stories and any advice that they might have for you starting out as you start your new career. As well as for the mentors, share your story, provide any advice, tell them what you would tell your younger self. So any advice, any stories that you could share with the interns, especially those that have relocated, and just to share with the mentors. Some of our RAs, this is their first real job. This is their first time ever getting on a plane and relocating to other areas. So it's a lot to take in. It's a lot of learning for them to do. So we just want to make sure that we set that tone and we make sure that we provide them with all the information that they will need to set them up for success. So again, these suggested topics or questions that we have here, we will also place them inside the breakout rooms. So you can either take a picture of them now or we will also have them in the breakout rooms. We will kind of list them out. So again, you can use this, but we ask that once you get inside your breakout room, we're going to ask that one of the mentors will take the lead to kind of try to facilitate the breakout room and have everyone to introduce themselves and then start with the questioning.